Hello, boys and girls. Gina here with Cosmic Bodyguards. Welcome to my channel. It's so hard recording these. Okay, wait. It's going to take a minute. We had a lot of rain here in San Diego this week, the last few days. And two areas of my house, the ceiling looks like it's about to fall in, like completely. Some of the ceiling has like chipped off, and there's a lot of like the brown buildup on my white ceilings, and that has me feeling pretty worried and troubled. I keep an eye on it. I'm gonna have to call somebody out to come fix it. It's getting really, I can't believe that happened. Anyway, so there was something mentioned about the transits this month, the planetary transits, and it's got to be that Mercury in Pisces, man. That soggy, wet sign. I don't like Pisces. My daughter's a Pisces. I like Pisces people. I just don't. I'm really sick of Pisces this year, like really sick of Pisces. And I'm really sick of Mercury being in Pisces. I'm ruled by Mercury as a Gemini, and I have like some other Mercury in Gemini, and Mercury's like heavy in my chart. So Mercury's been in Pisces. It feels like Mercury's been in Pisces all year. I keep saying things and I'm like, no, wait, I didn't really mean that. I take that back. I really meant that. And then I'm like, I don't know if I actually meant that. Anyways, so it's been weird. It's been weird. It's been a weird year so far. Since like the 9th of February, shit started to go weird. I can only laugh at it. I'm just getting tired already. Like, God, okay, I surrender. I was going to talk today about, and then Venus is going retrograde in Gemini with my Sun and Mercury natal for like 4 months. I just can't. This year and the transits are so annoying. It's like with this coronavirus. I've been listening to like the Joe Rogan podcasts because he keeps having these scientists on there. And I'm like, wow, I really value these scientists. I like listening to this. It's good. And I noticed in every episode, Joe Rogan has this like optimism that he's like trying to give himself. He's like trying to sell himself this optimism of like, it's good. It's ultimately, we got to just look at it where it's at and accept things where it's at before you can do anything else. And, it brings people together. He keeps saying that. And I just can hear over the last week maybe where he's like, it's shaving him away. It's chipping away at Joe Rogan where you're like, okay. And I'm waiting. There's going to be a point. There's going to be a breaking point there where he's like, fuck this virus. I want to go back on stage. All my comedy friends are like losing their mind. They're out of work as well. I mean, people are going to start running out of money too. People are going to want to start being able to have sex more with like random people, or just, it's starting. I'm starting to see the actual like slow chip away at the sheen, the layers, the masks that we put on, and like it happened. I'm curious to see how these transits play out. It's fun to be an observer of it. That's what's so fun about astrology too. You're like standing back and you're like, this is so interesting how this is playing out in my life and others and societally. But yeah, I'm in it right now. I feel like I'm also on the ground floor. I'm not just in this aerial view watching, like I'm not in it. I mean, we're all in it, but I'm like in it this year. There's a lot going on since this year started, a lot. And like every time I try to talk about something, I'm like, God dang, that is like thick. That's thick. I'm going through a lot right now. It's important that I recognize, oh, I'm actually going through a lot. I'm going to look back in 10 years or whatever, and God willing, and I'm going to be like, whoa, that was a really, really weird time for me. That was a really formative time that couldn't even fathom like the shifts that were going on in the, it's also like kind of this in-between time where I'm making all these like small revolutions in my own life. I'm like breaking free of certain kinds of bondages, but they're little and they're going to be like collective. They're like adding up. That's hard to talk about. I don't know how to talk about that. I like to see the duality of what's going on too. Like with like I'm feeling bad, like I feel grief, but I also feel good because certain things are also happening at the same time that are liberating me from having to feel bad anymore, maybe about those same things in the future. It's like karma clearing, clearing those bad habits away. Like one of the side effects right now of what everything that's going on is like breathing is hard for me. I can feel it all. It's not the sickness. It's just the weight. I'm feeling like I can't breathe sometimes. Like today, I have been having trouble getting full breaths, and I think that's just because of anxiety. But even when I'm in my body, I'm like not even in my head. I'm like, oh, I can't breathe, having trouble breathing. And that is because I was going to talk today about the reality of what's going on in a physical way with me. I also wanted to talk about what's going on with me energetically because it's a little like I said, it's a rush. It's like a rush of things happening. It's soggy, like I'm in the soggy mush of it right now, and I can't quite clearly see where the future is going, and I can't quite see where I'm at now. I'm on like driving through a misty mountain where I know it's coming, but I can only see like this far. I know it's going to end, but I can only see this far ahead of me right now, which can be really destabilizing. You have to just hold on and trust that and just go a little slower. You just have to go slower and, get through it. I was at the gas station the other day, and I've been attracting a lot of this kind of energy towards me lately. It's annoying. I'm trying to be like, what is it trying to teach me? What do I need to learn here with this? Why is this happening? I didn't have my little mask thing on. I don't know. I wasn't thinking. I just had glasses on. And I went to go pay for gas in the gas station. I came out. I didn't order very much gas, like maybe $10 worth of gas, because I'm not driving anywhere lately. Significant. And I'm just in my own little kind of motions. I needed to go to the laundromat and do laundry. Oh my God, the way they're doing laundry, you can only have like two people in the laundromat at once. It's so bizarre. They make you go wait outside, and it's good. We should be doing that. But I'm like, God, life has just slowed down everything. I realize even when I thought I was patient, it's really testing my patience. I'm like becoming more impatient and bitchy. So the people that I know that are like really impatient, I'm wondering how they're handling this. They're probably just having people do it for them. But like, because even me, I'm like, God, everybody's riding their bikes. I'm like, get out of the way. You're not a car. You are not a car. A virus doesn't make you a car. That's a bike. Get in the lane that you're supposed to be in. Look at this attitude. Jeez. So And I also feel like Amy Adams from the movie Enchanted, where I don't know if you've seen that movie. It's one of my favorite movies. She's like a Disney character and she falls down a tunnel and she lands in New York. And so she's she's a princess. She's a Disney princess that was animated and then she ends up in New York and she's like in human form. And they had Amy Adams play the character and she did so phenomenal. There's a scene where Amy Adams is in an argument with the other main character, the guy who's from New York, and he's like really cynical and impatient. And he tells her no about something again, and she's like, no, no, no. Is that all you know how to say? Is no? And she says, oh yeah, yeah, yeah. You only know how to say no. I'm so. And he's like, what? She's like, I'm angry. I'm angry. She starts laughing. It's me in my life right now. Amy Adams in Enchanted, who's realizing she's super angry about things. She's like not having needs met. So I'm angry. She's like observing it. It's fabulous. It's for like every Mormon woman too. I used to be Mormon and I married into the Mormon church, and that is how it is. Amy Adams is like the quintessential Mormon, Molly Mormon woman. You just aren't allowed to feel angry, seems like. But I was there getting gas. Anyway, sorry, I was there getting gas, and this guy came up in a Prius, and I was already back in my car. I wanted to get out of there because I thought he was pulling up on me to yell at me because like I wasn't paying attention and I think he had been waiting or something. I thought he was gonna like come up and yell at me to move. And I'm like, oh sorry. And he was interested in me. He wanted to know what I do, and I said I'm an astrologer. And he's like, can I be one of your clients? And I was like, sure. Where are you going? What are you doing? And I just was not like paying attention. I just wasn't feeling my own body or like my own senses. I just wanted to get out of there. I just wanted to get out of there and like go get my laundry done and get home. And I told him that, and he's like, can I have your number? Mistake. I don't have like a business card yet, or I'm going to make business cards with just my website on there for now, or my email. Slowly but surely, I'll get there. And he said something. He said something, and I just wasn't paying attention. I wasn't interested. I felt like my energy was giving off the vibe that I'm not interested right now. I'm not available. And I think my energy's giving off the opposite vibe or something, like attracting weird people, weirdos. Sorry. Just, what's the word? Like predatory people, people that don't know how to listen to you say no. Like, no, I said no. There's some kind of like raw energy coming out that's, I feel, attracting people that see the vulnerability and want to get in those little voids, those little energy leaks. I have leaky energy, clearly. I'm strong enough to handle it. He called me like late that night, really late, 9 p.m. And I answered the phone and he said some like really disgusting things to me. I couldn't believe it. I was like, I could not believe what I was hearing. I just was like, oh my God, what is happening? He said horrible things and he knew certain things about me. And it was just weird. It was really strange. So I've been a little bit on alert. I think maybe that's why I haven't been able to breathe very much like the last couple of days, where I'm just like, I feel more vulnerable in that way. I've really been desiring to be able to learn self-defense. And I thought that was really interesting with all the Mars transits and it's squaring Uranus. and right there with Saturn, like that's a lot of violent energy. That's a lot of disruptive fighting energy, or just doing the opposite of the norm. Like a pretty blonde girl wanting to learn jujitsu, or like pretty young blonde girl who's an astrologer wanting to listen to Joe Rogan and talk about science. Like all these long science interviews are great. I was really proud of myself. I've been really proud of myself. The language I was talking about in my last video, where I was just a mess of tears, um, that language is coming in handy. It does come in handy to tell people no. Like, I know I can say no now. I don't feel afraid to tell people stop. It doesn't feel right. Like what you're saying to me, I'm not available for what you're saying to me. I don't care how fucking weird it sounds. Like, I don't care how, stale or like clinical it needs to sound. I remember like a family member is like, you sound like you're reading out of a book and you're just trying to be something out of a book. And I'm like, I am. The book is teaching me how to talk to you. The book is teaching me how to talk in a way that gets my needs met, but also respects you too. And it's going to sound clinical for a while. I'm going to sound like Jordan Peterson for a while. You matter. Oh God. So, yeah, so that situation has ended. Hopefully, we'll see. I feel ready. I feel more ready already to like deal with it. The anxiety started around that day, though. It definitely started around that day. And I'm trying to remember to just like stay embodied in my body, in the experience. Every time I do, though, every time I go down back into my body, I start crying. I start to be emotional. And I know that sounds like, oh, well, you should be, but it's hard. It's really hard. Grieving is really hard. And I feel brave for being able to like at least intellectualize it and be like, oh, I need to do this. I have. You can't escape it. You can. So yeah, I'm really having to intellectualize it right now because I'm going to tell a little story. I'm going to try and keep it around 10 minutes. It's a long story, but I will try. In 2015, I've been realizing like the more I just talk and tell people things that I think are horrible about myself, and I'm just open and I own it, and my life is getting better. Like my external circumstances are getting a lot better. Significantly, like my money situation has been, the wheels started moving already, since last week when I posted my thing talking about it. So this little thing's pretty good. Motif. Okay. 2015, I worked at a meal prep company. You make a bunch of meals for people for the week, people who work in offices and like who work out and stuff. And we would make them these like specialty meals all in a weekend. And then we'd deliver them that Monday. Well, she was closing up her business and I was just the executive assistant. I didn't really do any of the kitchen chef stuff. I did sometimes, but she was closing her business down. Actually, we had a weekend left. It was our last weekend. And that Friday, I finished up with a lot of my executive work. And so I saw them kind of lagging behind. So I went to go help the meal prep chefs finish. And there was like this whole box of chayote squash, which has like it's kind of hard, the squash. It's harder than regular zucchini or Italian squash. And I was cutting, it was just slamming through. You just cut like 50 pounds of things, 50 pounds of onions, and do like a ton. And I was just slamming through this chayote squash and I cut the tip of my finger off actually. So That was shocking, man. Whew, was gnarly. I like grabbed my finger and walked over to the sink, and I realized that part of my finger was like not in my glove. And my coworker was like, "It's right here on the cutting board." It's crazy, right? So my boss was like, "Stop." She drove me to the urgent care, and all he did was bandage it up, and he's like, "It's going to take a long time to heal. Tips of fingers take a really long time to heal, and it may never grow back all the way." So technically it took about 6 months to heal, and it never grew back the right way. I'm like missing a fingerprint right in that area, and the nail grows in kind of bruised. So I often have fake nails on because this finger right here has nerve damage. It has just permanent nerve damage that it hurts. So it also, having fake nails on makes me feel more safe because I didn't even realize how traumatic it was for me at the time because about what I'm about to tell you. So, the doctor at the ER place, the urgent care, he gave me pills. He gave me painkillers. And I'm glad he gave me painkillers because that was so painful. Like to have my the tip of my finger chopped off psychologically, physically, and then my life ended right then. I couldn't go back to work. We only had a weekend anyways. Everything just kind of stopped then. And I was married at the time, and I had two little girls with me, and my husband, my little family in my condo. And yeah, he gave me a bottle of pills. They were called Tramadol. Tramadol is like a synthetic opioid. And I took those, and I was like, whoa, I feel so good. Like, wow, holy shit. Like, I've never felt this good in my life. Oh my God, it felt so good. My husband came home, my ex-husband, and he was like, wow, you're so pleasant. You're so happy. What's making you this happy? And so, yeah, I spent about a month. It took 6 months or so for the skin and nail to grow back. It was like a raw open wound. It's something that just it's really hard for it to heal, right there. So a month in, and I didn't have any more of those pills. I didn't have any more Tramadol. And I realized I went to sleep the night of, I just ran out. I didn't think of anything of it, but I ran out, and I was laying there in bed next to my husband, and my body was like, I felt like my skin was sewed on inside out, and my like bones were ripping out of my body. I just felt like, oh my God, this is awful. And I was sweating. My body was just sweating. I went and laid in the living room by our balcony and opened the door, and it was winter time. So, and I laid there like a few nights in a row. I just was like, I was in agony. I don't know. We just thought I had the flu. So some time went by, and after that, I didn't realize, I didn't know what was happening. I thought I had the flu. And after the pain went away, I started to feel my own energy level come back, which was a lot slower, which was a lot less clear mentally. Like the Tramadol made me feel so focused and so much more energy, like so much more alive in my head. It made me feel like I could get things done, and I was focused. I started school right away, didn't wait, did online school for that semester. I was doing it. I was learning bookkeeping and stuff. So, I was just on it, and my house was clean. And then my energy levels started to go away, like deplete, clear. My head was so foggy. I was like so lost. I dropped out of school within like a couple weeks. I dropped out of, I just was like, fuck this. I'm so over this. I hate this. Actually, it's boring. It's peach tea. It's like hot peach. Mm. It's really delicate, but it's good. Mm. All right, so my energy levels were so depleted and so low. Holy moly. I realized I called my husband's mom and I was like, oh no, like something's wrong with me. Like something's going on with me. I went over to her house and I saw in her cabinet she had a dog. Okay, this is where it gets weird. She had this big Mastiff dog. They're huge and they don't live very long, like 7 years maybe. And he was such a sweet dog, but he was getting near the end of his life. I believe he had arthritis or tumors or something going on with his legs. And the vet was like prescribing him tramadol. Um, in copious amounts. I mean, it was like a bottle I saw in her cabinet that was like hundreds, 300, 500 or something. So many. And I'm like, can I have some of those? My finger hurts, you know? Can I just have a handful? And I was like, they make me feel really good, actually. I'm kind of worried about it. And she said, those don't do that to you. Those don't get you intoxicated off them. And I kind of like, okay, I'm going to go ahead and take them anyway. So I did that. I ended up taking like that whole bottle within a few months because tramadol, your tolerance just starts to like build. After that, I started selling almonds at the farmer's market again, which was my job from when I was like 18. So farmer's market culture it's not really like hippie culture. Farmer's market shoppers are the hippie types. The people behind the booths were farmers. It's different. It's a different lifestyle. And they drink a lot, and there is some drug abuse going on behind the booths. There is some of that overlap, but this is a lot of alcohol. I don't drink alcohol, and I'm not a drinker, but a lot of opioids going around. There's a lot of like stimulant stuff keeping these farmers like going, you know? It's a crazy lifestyle. So I did that. I was just selling almonds. My favorite. They're like really great almonds. I worked for this company on and off for forever. And yeah, I was doing the tramadol and it was going well. I was making lots of sales. I was so social. Like I was doing so good in my sales because I'm like, you know, I could just go forever and make tons of sales. And then at that time, money started to get really rough in my marriage. My husband's company started to go belly up. He was a construction worker, and the company was like going belly up and having him stay home more. So he's like, you know what? I'm so tired. I need you to go work. I need you to do it. You know, I need to rest. So I did. I went and I opened my own little housekeeping company. So I was doing the almonds several days a week, and then after that, I'd go clean people's houses on my own. I fell at work on a huge glob of Tide laundry detergent. I like slipped like on a banana peel, you know, and I landed on my lower back. I went to my doctor and I was like, I'm in pain. I need pills. And he gave me a huge bottle of the oxycodone. So I had tramadol I was taking and oxycodones. And my husband didn't know this at the time. So that's when it started to get really bad, where I was like, I have a problem. I think I have a problem with. I can't stop taking them. If I stop taking them, like they don't necessarily make me feel great anymore unless it's the morning. My first one feels good. And then it's just maintenance to not go into this full-on withdrawal feeling. And I was asking some people, family members, and they're like, no, it's not a problem. I'm not putting the responsibility on them, by the way. I'm just saying I know I was asking for help. Like I was calling out for help. That's a big problem in my life where I look like I don't need help. I look like the kind of girl in the world who doesn't need a thing, who's had everything handed to her, who's perfectly happy. And so when I ask for help and I tell people what I need, it's oftentimes they're like, you don't need that. You're good. Or wah, like cry me a river. I know, I've been through things. So It's just somebody told me that's my cross to bear. That's just like part of my karma for this life is I look like I have not been through anything. All right, so um, that went on. So I had those prescriptions. He ended up making me a tramadol prescription too. I had like 300 a month tramadol and then like 60 a month oxycodone, which is so much. I remember one night I got to the point I was getting really out of control. My dad could tell too. My dad was starting to be like, something's up with you, you know, something's not right. You're not the same that you used to be. Um, but I couldn't get off. I was physically like so dependent on them, but also terrified if I stopped, like my energy would go whoop, like I had all these commitments now, finally. What am I going to do? It's that like fear trap that you get in too, because you start to identify so much with the drug. You're a drug addict at that point. That's what you are. You're a drug addict. And it starts to change your character a lot. You're never content either. Like nothing's ever enough. So of course, like my marriage wasn't enough and nothing was enough. And it ended, my marriage ended. And I'm really sad about that now. I wish I would have done differently. I do regret certain mistakes. I do regret it looking back. But actually, my ex-husband was here today, dropping the Easter basket off for Remy, and we ended up talking for like 40 minutes where we were cracking up because we're like, damn it, with the books that I have now and stuff. And I'm like, there was like 2 sentences that could have shifted that entire thing. The entire trajectory of our life was coming down to like a couple needs not being met that we didn't know how to say. Like, fuck, we're cracking up. I'm like, sorry. So, um, I guess the important point is that we learned about it, and I'm happy that we can like stand and talk and laugh about it. But I started to run out of those pills. It was like one day I took so many. I don't even know. I was just taking them. Like it was absurd. I think I must have taken like a handful of them, at least 10 that day. I went to a friend's house for her movie night party thing, and I was like livid for some reason. I was not myself. And they're like, something's wrong with you. Something's going on with you. You're agitated. And I got like irritated and I left and I went home. And I remember laying in bed that night. This terrified me. It terrified me enough to just stop cold turkey. Um, I laid in bed and I remember if I closed my eyes, it was almost like I would wake up gasping for air and my breath, like I couldn't breathe. My heart felt like it was just barely pumping. And I just was like I think might have been overdosing then. I mean, it was so scary. I stayed up for hours just breathe in, breathe out, breathe in, breathe out, making myself like consciously breathe through that. And yeah, like I can't breathe when I talk about that story. And I went to work the next day and I was coming down so hard. I was like body sweating, like, at the farmer's market. My neighbor at the farmer's market noticed what was going on. And he's like, I have an alternative for you. Come here, let's go see this guy. And it's when this product was still legal. It's a plant powder. It's a plant supplement called kratom, which hits the opioid receptors in your brain. And he bought me like a whole bag of them. The strain that he bought me was called Meng Da, which is like more of a stimulant. We took like five of them, just a few, and we were like partying. Like it relieved all my symptoms of withdrawal. And it was just like taking tramadol again for the first time. I was feeling so good. Kratom is a slippery slope, really slippery slope. I got so badly addicted to it. fucked me up. It fucked up my life in the worst way. It took everything, I feel like, from me. It changed me in ways that I don't even know if I'll ever get back. I mean, it changed my character in a drastic way. Like I became terrified of people, so I developed the habit of lying. I developed the habit of not paying my bills on time just to be able to afford it because it's so expensive. It's outrageously expensive. It's legal, like you can go buy it at a store, but it is so expensive. So, and your tolerance for it becomes so high where you're taking like 60 grams a day just to get by. It's really tough. And getting off of it was like horrible. It was way worse than getting off of it the first time was way, way, way worse than the oxycodone. And I don't say that was for me. That was for me. The reason why they say is because that powder, I used to take the little capsules, and you have to take more of the capsules to get the same effect as if you would just take the powder and drink it like a tea. And they say it builds up in your intestines and in your liver and your gallbladder and stuff. It's done so much damage to my liver that I have been diagnosed with liver disease, a stage 1 liver disease. That's fucking crazy. So, I mean, it's really dangerous. And people talk about it like it's some miracle drug. It's not. It's dangerous for people like me, just if you're using it to get off something else, it's really dangerous and you will get addicted to it really fast. I feel like it just destroyed my life. Like it's been really hard. And I got off of it for a while, and then in 2018 I started taking a lot. I met my boyfriend last year in 2019, and he was like, get off that. That's stupid. I'll help you. So he helped me to get off that, and I did. And then um, a few months ago or something, we had a moment and the relationship ended, and I went and like bought a bottle of them, and I started taking them again for like a few weeks. And I didn't take nearly as many. I didn't need as many, but I just was like, I don't know, it just didn't feel the same. I felt like I had cracked into something of myself where I'm like, I don't know. I think God has helped me. I worked really hard to get over it for that period of time. And it didn't do the same thing for me that I thought it would. And I'm not on it now. I'm not on anything now. I'm not on mental health medication, which I was on Wellbutrin, and they raised the price of it like exorbitantly, and they're making me buy 3 months at a time. So $70 for 1 month because I don't have health insurance now. I'm like completely out. So yeah, it's just like I look back, I'm sober now, and I'm like, fucking A. Like, I can't believe the damage I let myself do to my life for that. And it was often just to like stay okay, just to stay okay, because dipping down into that place where your body starts to withdraw, eh, eh, it's so bad. But this last time, I don't know, it just didn't do the same thing for me. I think that our minds are very powerful. And also when we're not embodied and accepting things going on in our bodies, we want to try to like lift out of them, escape it, numb it, make it warmer, that warm, cozy opioid feeling that you feel like you're being hugged. When you can acknowledge, that's what I did this last time. It was so funny. Like I was barely on it for any length of time, but then I was like, I noticed my body was starting really fast to want to hold on to it. And I probably doubt that my body was completely clear of it when I started again. So even though it had been a handful of months, I just was like, you know what? I'm going to just be in my body. I'm going to like do whatever I can to just stay in my body and notice every time I want to go take a dose of it, what's happening with me. What is happening with me? And it was so fascinating. One of the things I found, this is getting long, sorry. One of the things I found was that it's kind of actually, I feel vulnerable now. Back in the day, I was like suppressing and denying my sex drive. Like I was trying to get rid of it. And because my body was so wanting sex and wanting to be held, wanting like physical affection, which was seriously lacking in my marriage. And just now my body's developed even more. I've explored that side of myself even more. It's more liberated now. And now, like, I'm completely sober, and I realized, like, over the last few weeks, it's infuriating sometimes for me. I just feel my body's alive and aroused, and like that creates a sort of like longing and a loneliness that kind of hurts. It hurts, and it becomes like, you know, I need to be loved. I need to be held. I don't have any of that. I have no touch happening whatsoever right now. And it hurts. Like I actually cry every day. I just pause, and it's usually around like 3 p.m. where I'm like, I just break down. I feel like I'm suffocating. I'm just like, I don't feel like I can breathe right now. I just need more than my basic human needs met. And I don't. I can't right now. And I'm not alone. I'm not alone in the world. That's happening to people. But like, that's really hard. Like, that's been really hard for me lately, and I refuse to go and like just temporarily sacrifice myself for that. So it's like the dual thing. Like, I guess I'm going to have to find a different way to meet the need. Like, I have to find different ways for right now. And also, when the time comes that I do have a boyfriend again, and when I can be intimate with a person sexually or intimately, I can't wait for that. And it's going to be even more precious to me. It's going to be that much more valuable where I just really can just take it in the moment and just say, yes, this feels so good. I feel so nourished by this. But yeah, right now I realize that I'm like, what do I need? There's some needs not being met right now that is causing a lot of like anxiety, or just that kind of like, it's a restless feeling. It's a not satiated feeling that tries to get out of my body and into my head. It makes me want to turn into like a little airheaded, fast talking, buzzy animal or something. Like, it's hard. It's a challenge. I just go for a lot of walks, and I just try to just move my body a lot. But I'm not on anything right now. I'm not on any meds, and not on anything. And that's probably a lot of why I have trouble breathing right now, I feel. It's familiar. It feels familiar to me, like I've done this. I used to feel this way, and I'm really like, I got disassociated from that feeling because I used types of drugs to get away from that, because it's hard. So every time I've been feeling that, it's like a vulnerability. It's a cue that something's happening. I need something. And it's a lot of, I just really want to be held so badly. I want a hug. And I don't have any hugs right now. I don't have anything like that. My cat is my male cat. I think he can tell something's up. Like, I think he can tell that there's distress going on in me, because he stays really close to me a lot, and he kind of just paces around, and then he'll come back and check on me. I've had to check on him a couple times. Like, I wonder if he's anxious. I started letting him be an outdoor cat, and he's become a lot happier. But he does. He kind of comes and checks back in with me. And at bedtime, I mean, he sleeps really close to me every night. It's pretty cool. He just seems intuitively aware of what's going on with me. Yeah, so I am in distress. There is distress going on. Like, I am grieving. This is the grieving process. It's just so heavy. It's so much heavier than just the feeling of not being able to breathe. Like, the grief. Oh my God, grief associated it is the emotion associated with the lungs, grief in the lungs. Oh my God, I'm grieving. I'm angry. It's rough. I can't wait to start feeling better, but I can't wait to like have a companion again, honestly. I just can't wait. I really value it and cherish it a lot more now, even more. Like, I'm not going to rush off into something and like forego my needs and boundaries, but Jesus, I feel really lonely. I'm feeling really, really lonely. It's hard. If you have a partner and you're snuggling, you're able to snuggle them and you're able to go wrap your arms around them and tell them you love them and like feel the warmth of their body radiate onto yours. You're very blessed right now, and you should go tell them that you love them and that you thank them for being there right now, because the absence of it is really felt right now with people. So, anyways, I'm clean, and I don't really like that word, but I'm just getting to know myself again on an even deeper level, like not on anything, not on any substances, without the euphoria, the feeling of the constant state of euphoria. You can't have that in your life like that. God will give you that. God can give you that. Mantra meditation, or like just mantra, that for me, that gets me into my body, like keeps my body buzzing and vibrating. It's really good for me, like song, music. People even like Stevie Nicks from Fleetwood Mac. I get her. I get her. She understood energy a lot, I think, because her music, she sings deep vocals down in here, and it brings you down into your body when you try to emulate her. Like people like Lana Del Rey. It's very sexy and sexual. It exudes a sexual energy to people. It's really spooky. It's really like magnetic, as they say. And sometimes I don't like that. But it's something that I don't really understand from the other point of view. I don't know what's being felt. So it makes me feel really vulnerable. But at this stage, like I said, the guy that I attracted at the gas station, and then the day before that, I had a very weird experience too with a man who like put his hand on me, on my back right here. And I just freaked out. I just was like, don't do that. Don't touch me. I don't consent to that. Like, get your hand off me. That is such a sexual place right here on the back. I feel like that is such an intimate place to touch a woman. It's too sexy. That was, don't put your hands on me. So, see, I'm probably being a little bit, but I feel like I'm attracting that a bit too. Why would he touch me anyways? We're social distancing. What's going on? Oh God. um, yeah, I'm gonna have to patch up these energy leaks. Whatever that means. I need God. I need more God. Um, yeah, so I'm getting to know myself without anything, without any like Wellbutrin too. I'm having more intrusive thoughts again, which I had overcome. I thought I had overcome them, but actually it was just medication for a year. That just, it does get rid of that. They do come back. I am having nightmares and dreams, good dreams and bad dreams. Having that again, not feeling euphoria all the time is hard. It's really hard. What you gonna do? You can't live your life like that. It robs you of the ability to like live lucidly when you're alive. So I'm really strong. I'm a really strong woman. I'm really seeing that right now. And sometimes, some days, it's teaching me, it's maturing me in some ways, because it's like telling me sometimes having your basic needs met only has to be enough. You just have to be grateful that you have your basic needs met. You have a house, you have a heater when it's cold and wet out. Not everybody has that right now. You have enough food. You have your child with you. You have two cats. They have food. They have clean litter. Like that just, you have Netflix. You have books beyond books. You have a magical practice, meditation. You have music. You have a Spotify. Like you have enough right now. That is enough to get by. You have a yard to work in. You have a neighborhood to walk around in and say hi to people. Um, that's just has to be your basic needs right now. That just has to be enough. That I hate the feeling of the discontentedness. I don't like that in myself. I don't like feeling that. I do try to escape that a lot. I try to escape that feeling of sexual energy because you want to relieve it. It hurts almost. It just feels like it doesn't, it feels good, but I was experiencing that a lot when I was taking stuff too. It's like flooding sometimes during the year at different points. And it's just amplified right now. I feel very in my experience. And so I just have to have my basic needs be enough. We don't, I think about the strength of a lot of our American ancestors. I like really hold on to their ingenuity and their strength and their like ability to be present and also be in the future at the same time, like be with their hopes and wishes while also being with the moment, like walking across America for 9 months straight. That's that their basic needs had to be enough. They had to limit what their needs were. They had to be adaptable to the situation. So, and I could go out, I could go in my car and I could go buy some of that stuff, and I haven't. It's available. I just thought this is a good time. Society's moving a lot slower. This is a really good time to just decide to not anymore. Like, just don't do it anymore. Just, it's over. It's done. You don't need it anymore. We'll see how my like Wellbutrin without that, we'll see how that goes. Um, Surprisingly, my energy has gotten faster. I'm not slowed down anymore. I always thought that I was like a slug or like a snail. I was so afraid that if I stopped in the past that I would like slow way down in my life. I'd be like, oh, I'm so bloated. Um, no, I don't know. My energy's been fine. I do drink coffee and I smoke. So maybe that's enough to like, I've been taking a lot of vitamins and eating a lot of fruit, um, eating like the basic foods. So maybe I'm going on like grief momentum or something. But I think a lot of that problem I had was holding on to a lot of fear. And it's really freeing to be on the other end of it and say, like, okay, some parts are really bad, but some parts are also really good. Um, and I can feel a lot of pain, but I'm also like, the funny stuff's coming back too. Things are like genuinely being funny again. I'm being funny again, which is amazing. Like things are becoming funny to me again. And I'm funny. I forgot. I'm actually pretty funny. So, um, and I also am enjoying like comedy again, listening to like, Joe Rogan's guests. They will throw jokes in and I'll be able to pick them up. One of my favorite YouTube guys, the astrology guy, is so funny. And I'm like, oh my God, he's hilarious. How did I not pick that up before? Not everything's so fucking serious all the time. Some of this is funny. I can't wait for coronavirus comedy to come out. Maybe I'll write some because I have been like coming up with the funniest stuff in my own head, like walking around or just so just smiling again. Like things are funny. I feel happy to see my daughter every morning. Like that sounds kind of mean, but God, drugs just take you away from people. It removes you. And that can just become your story. It removed me enough for me to be like, I am grateful that it removed me enough to develop my own beliefs, my own systems, my own thing. It helped me to individuate. I need to believe that right now. Like it helped me do that. I've individuated in so many ways. My ideas are mine. My life is mine, even though it's little, it's not a big grandiose life. It's it's just got to be enough right now. And I have to sink into the enoughness of it. It's just enough right now. It might be like this for a while. So, yeah, I was a drug addict. Am I still? I don't like that we have to be like, I'm an addict. I'm still that way. Always an addict. Once an addict, always an addict. I don't know. I don't know how I feel about that yet because I haven't have enough track like time on my plate or whatever they say. But I thought there was a time where I thought I would never get over this. I thought I was going to be this way forever. And I would never ever get off, that I would never be able to live my life without anything, And I thought, if I get off, I'm going to overeat. I'm going to binge eat again. I'm going to gain all my weight back because I've lost so much weight. Um, and that's not important. Like, that's just not important. The drug is bigger than the drug that you're actually taking. It's actually like, it's the fear, it's your head, it's what it does to you. It diminishes your strength so that you think that you only need that's who you are. So, anyways, I could talk so much longer about it. It's taken up 5 years of my life. 5 fucking years of my life, I look back. Oh my God, that took 5 years of my life. My daughter was, what, 7 or something when I started, and now she's 11. And I'm like, I have missed parts of you, missed parts. I've lost time. So I lost time with my dad. I lost emotions that I should have been feeling that were part of my growth. And I lost parts of paying attention to my boyfriend, my ex, like things where he's like, hello. And I'm like, I don't hear what you need. I don't hear you, my ex-husband. I don't hear your needs because I'm numb. There's things in front of me blocking me that I have put there. So it's it's hard at first, but it gets easier and then things start to feel better again. And you just, if you're going through that, especially the people addicted to Kratom right now, like on the subreddit of quitting Kratom, it's so hard. I can't go on there very much and go read through it. It just gives me such bad anxiety that I want to go relieve it in any way. So I don't go on there. It's really, I can't right now. I'm not there yet. But yeah. Anyways, I'm scared to upload this right now. I'm really scared to talk about this publicly. It's really embarrassing for me that I was like a girl who got sucked into that. I have been doing that for years and just lost a lot of, it's a really nebulous thing. So thanks you for letting me be able to share. And I think God blesses me. He blessed me last time. I like made myself a fool out of myself, almost like crying on camera like that. But afterwards, I was like, there was a part of me that was a heaviness that was gone. And I even went back and watched and I'm like, oh God, but it was funny. But I also started crying watching it, where I just developed a little bit more empathy for myself and love for myself, like just a little more love, where I'm like, that took strength, man. So, okay, I love you guys. And comment or like this video. Comment if you can relate. If you have your own story, email me if you want to talk about it. I'm home giving readings right now. So email me at cosmic.bodyguards@gmail.com. I could use friends and company right now too. So, all right. Talk to you later. Bye.